Today we're going to talk about something that so many of us do, something that can drive you absolutely crazy. You know what I'm talking about? Replaying conversations over and over and over in your head. Let's really get into why our minds do this.
So, be honest. Have you ever walked away from a conversation, maybe from work or just hanging out with friends, and your brain just hits replay, and suddenly you're stuck in this loop, just going over it again and again?
Yeah, if that feels familiar, you are definitely not alone. That feeling of agonizing over every little thing you said, or maybe what you should have said, that's a super common experience. But here's the thing, what if it's not what you think it is at all?
All right, so let's get into the heart of this, because this is where we're going to flip the script. We're so quick to label this habit as overthinking or just bad anxiety. But what if there's something way more powerful going on? What if it isn't a flaw, but actually a function of a really unique and powerful kind of mind?
This right here is the big aha moment. The story we tell ourselves, the myth, is that we're just spinning our wheels, caught up in all this random anxious thinking. But the reality? It's actually a sign that you have a highly attuned, deeply engaged mind. It's not a bug, it's a feature.
So, okay, if it's not just the anxiety, then what is it? Well, it turns out there are a few very specific, pretty powerful traits that are actually driving this whole thing. These are the building blocks of what you could call a reflective mind.
And here they are, the big three. These are the core traits that create this whole experience. You've got strong emotional processing, a high sensitivity to social cues, and an active, fast-moving mind. So let's break down what each of these really means.
First up, strong emotional processing. This is huge. It means you don't just hear words, you feel them. You feel the emotional current running underneath the conversation. So for you, an interaction isn't really over when the talking stops. Your mind has to go back and review it to process the full emotional weight of what just happened.
Next, let's add this to the mix. High sensitivity to social cues. Think of your brain as being wired to pick up on all the little things that most people miss. You know, a tiny shift in tone, a quick expression, the specific way someone phrases something. Replaying that conversation, that's just your mind analyzing all of that rich, unspoken data it collected.
And the third piece of the puzzle is an active, fast-moving mind. Now, this isn't about having a brain that just won't shut off. It's about having a brain that refuses to settle for a surface-level explanation. It's actively trying to understand the interaction from every possible angle, deconstructing it to find the real meaning.
You see, when you put those three things together, you get this incredibly powerful cognitive engine. This whole replaying habit isn't some flaw in your personality. It really is a feature, and it's about time we started seeing it as a strength.
Just let that sink in for a second. This habit, the one you've maybe spent years trying to get rid of, it's not random noise. It's actually the very engine that drives your personal growth. It's literally what pushes you to become a better version of yourself.
And you can see how it works, right? All of that deep reflection, it leads to a really high level of self-awareness. And once you have that awareness, you can't help but develop a growth-focused mindset because you see exactly where you can improve. And all of that, it comes together to make you a more thoughtful, more effective communicator.
Okay, so we've completely reframed this habit. Now the question is, what do you do with it? How do you actually harness the power of this inner architect who is constantly looking over the blueprints of every conversation you have?
Really, the most important takeaway is to just change your perspective. That's it. Stop seeing this tendency as a bug that needs to be squashed. Start seeing it for what it is, a seriously sophisticated tool. It's a tool that lets you build deeper connections and understand the world in a way most people just can't.
So I'm going to leave you with this question. If your mind really is an architect, constantly and meticulously reviewing the blueprints of human connection, what kind of amazing things are you going to build with that?